Let's be real for a second. Every single trader knows that feeling, right? That pit in your stomach when your carefully crafted plan just goes up in smoke and pure emotion grabs the steering wheel. You find yourself chasing a move you know you shouldn't or revenge trading to get your money back. But what if I told you that this isn't some personal failure of willpower? What if it's just a biological glitch? Well, today, we're going to get into the science of that glitch and how to fix it. I mean, this scenario, it's painfully familiar, isn't it? Your heart starts pounding, you feel this incredible urgency, and your brain is just screaming, go! You slam the buy button right at the peak, totally convinced you've nailed it, only to watch it reverse a second later. See, this isn't just a bad decision. This is your brain's ancient survival software completely short-circuiting in the modern market. So let's talk about David. David is smart, he's done his homework, he has a solid trading plan, but in that one critical moment, emotion wins and he makes a bad trade. And here's the most important part. David's problem isn't that he's undisciplined or a bad trader. He's been ambushed by his own biology. All right, so that brings us to our first section, the biological ambush. You see, to beat this thing, you first have to understand what it is. We need to look under the hood and see what's actually happening inside our heads when that chart goes vertical.
And this biological culprit, it has a name, the amygdala hijack. When you see that sudden, massive price move, your brain's alarm system, the amygdala, sees it as a threat, the threat of missing out. It then floods your body with stress hormones and basically yanks the controls away from your prefrontal cortex, the smart, logical part of your brain that's supposed to be in charge. In that moment, you are literally, biologically incapable of making a good trading decision.
So let's dig a little deeper here in Section 2, Your Brain on Trading. We're going to get into the science of why this hijack is just so powerful, and talk about the other chemical forces that are messing with your decisions. The easiest way to think about it is like this. You've got two traders living in your head. You've got the prefrontal cortex, that's your pro trader, calm, logical, follows the plan no matter what. And then you've got the amygdala. That's let's call it your caveman trader. It's all instinct, all survival. It sees a fast move and thinks, tiger, run. An amygdala hijack is when the caveman trader shoves the pro out of the chair and just starts smashing all the buttons.
But here's the crazy part. It isn't just fear that's driving all this. It's also a chemical addiction, thanks to something called dopamine. And get this, your brain doesn't release this reward chemical when you get the win. It releases it in anticipation of the win. The what if is actually more addictive than the result. This creates a really dangerous loop where you stop trading your plan and start acting like a gambler, just chasing that next chemical hit.
So, if we're all hardwired this way, how in the world do the pros overcome it? Well, the answer isn't that they've gotten rid of the feelings. It's that they've adopted a totally different way of thinking. This is the master's mindset, a complete shift from focusing on the outcome to focusing on the process. And this table just lays it out perfectly. Our amateur, David, he's on an emotional roller coaster. If he wins money, he thinks he made a great decision. If he loses, well, it was just bad luck or the market's fault. But our master trader, Sarah, she knows better. She completely separates her decision from the outcome. She knows she can execute her plan flawlessly and still lose money because the market is random. Her focus isn't on the money, it's on the quality of her execution. This flawed way of thinking that David has, it's a cognitive bias called resulting. It's just a fancy way of saying you're judging a decision purely by its outcome. And let me tell you, it is absolutely destructive for a trader. Why? Because if you get lucky on a bad, impulsive trade, your brain rewards the terrible process. It teaches you all the wrong lessons, and it's what traps you in that endless cycle of making money and then giving it all right back.
Okay, so enough theory. How do we actually break this cycle? That's what this next section is all about. We're going to build what I call the biological override, a practical, no-nonsense toolkit to keep our biology from sabotaging our trading.
The very first step is just recognizing when you're in the danger zone. And these are the big flashing red lights that your caveman trader has taken over. Jumping right back into a trade after a loss, suddenly doubling your position size, taking setups that you know are total junk. These aren't trading strategies. These are symptoms of a brain that's just desperate for a dopamine hit to make the pain of a loss go away.
And this is absolutely crucial. You can't outthink an emotional hijack, but you can outsystem it. So here's a simple three-step system. Step 1, the mechanical checklist. You force your logical brain to come back online by physically, and I mean physically, checking off at least 3 entry criteria before every single trade. No checks, no trade. Step 2, the circuit breaker.
This one is non-negotiable. 2 losses in a row, or you hit your max daily loss, you are done for the day. Lock your platform, walk away, period. And step 3, the 3-minute reset. When you feel that heat rising in your chest, that's your cue. Get up, walk away from the screen for just 3 minutes. It's like a hard reboot for your rational mind. Now, for the big one, FOMO. How do you fight that feeling of scarcity? You have to reframe it. That massive move you just missed, it feels like the only opportunity in the world, right? But with over 250 trading days in a year, that single move isn't even 1% of your total annual opportunity. When you truly internalize this, the 1% opportunity cost mindset, the emotional power of any single setup just melts away. There's always another trade.
Look, I know applying these rules is going to feel clunky and forced at first, but the real goal here is something much deeper. And that brings us to our final section, rewiring for discipline. This is about turning these conscious, difficult rules into unconscious, automatic reflexes. Which really brings us to the ultimate question every trader who struggles with this asks. Can you actually cure this stuff? Can you really train that impulse to chase right out of your system?
And the answer, based on everything we know about the brain, is a resounding yes. The tool is something called neuroplasticity. It just means your brain isn't fixed. It's adaptable, like a muscle. Every single time you follow your checklist, every time you respect your circuit breaker, every time you walk away, you are literally strengthening the neural pathways for discipline. You're carving a new, better path in your brain, making the good decision the easy one over time.
And that brings us to the final, most important idea. True success isn't about the money you made or lost on any single trade. If you followed your plan, you executed your process perfectly, and you managed your risk exactly as you were supposed to, then even a losing trade is a huge victory. It is one good trade. And stacking those good trades one after another is the only real path to success. So the question I'll leave you with is this. Are you focused on making money, or are you focused on making one good trade?